Hey, Sarah. Thanks for taking the time today to have a little chat with me. For those of you that don't know, I'm Coach Josh Wood, founder of Strong for Life Online Coaching. And today we are talking to Sierra, one of our star long-term clients. So, Sierra, first off, just tell us a little about you. What's your life like?
Well, I the couple main points. I'm a mom of four. I'm married with all those goofy kids, and one is a goober and goofy, and they are both of those things. So there are four of them. The oldest is six. The youngest is 1.5, and I also am a work from home mom. So like I'm at home with them all the time, but I'm also working, and all my work is digital computer work. So natural state could be a very sedentary lifestyle, a lot of jumping up to fill juice glasses, but otherwise not like I'm in the house all the time. So that was that's my like natural resting state, right at home. And then I needed you.
Yeah, sounds like a busy life. So tell me a bit about sort of where your health, your fitness, any sort of training you were doing was like before you started working with us.
Yeah. So long time ago, I was a dancer in high school and college. And so I was dancing, 5 days a week and competing on the weekends. And then I was a summer camp counselor. And so all summer I would be hiking and trekking. Basically, it was a mile to breakfast in the morning every day. So like very active all through like my teens and early 20s. And then of course, you finish college and you get married and then you start having a bunch of babies and the speed of your life slows down and the spectrum of where you go gets smaller and smaller. And you start looking for a parking spot closer to the door of the Walmart. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, so that was like eons ago. I've always like dabbled in yoga and the other girl workout stuff, and like when you put together especially the last two pregnancies were very back to back for me. And so I really like, especially at the third, I was pregnant. I got pregnant with the fourth when I was 8 months postpartum with the third. So like very, very back to back. There was a period where I was nursing and pregnant. So like I was continuously nursing or pregnant or both for 7 straight years. And so
Wow.
all of that me time, all of that taking care of myself, all of those things that like I used to do when I was a fit hot babe, they got me here. They got me the husband to make the babies. I had no time for it left, right? And I had no bandwidth for it. So by the time I finally reached out to you to start working out with you, I realized that I was 6 months postpartum with my fourth, and I still weighed the same I did the day I gave birth to her. And I was like, that is a problem. So I did all the things I feel like you should do. So I went to the doctor, I got a blood panel done, I did a bunch of medical stuff that I had been putting off for a long time and took care of myself for a while. I went to the chiropractor and I went to the dietitian and did all those things. And I got a gym membership and I went to the lady girl workouts and did yoga with the ladies. And after 6 months of trying on my own power, I still weighed what I weighed the day I gave birth to my daughter. And I was like, this is not working. So that's when I called you. And I specifically remember being very upset about it because you and I are friends. And I was like, I literally can't continue trying to do it by myself. Like, I've done all the things you should do, I've exhausted all the options. I need help. And I was at that point, it's not like I was sad. I had spent a lot of time being really sad about it because my self-conception was still I was a fit girl. So like I was like I had convinced myself that I was not that far away. If I just tried, it would get better. And it just wasn't.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with my blood panel. There was nothing wrong with me, but it just wasn't moving. And I went from being very sad about it to like the day I called you, I was mad. I was like, no, no, no. This can't be how I live. I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
I need somebody to step in and give me the structure that apparently I can't do on my own so that I can get to where I want to be because I feel like a fit girl trapped in a fat girl's body. Like this isn't how I want to move through the world. This isn't the energy I want to have. I don't feel like myself. And that's when I called you.
Yes, I remember that conversation. So, how long have we been working together now?
6 months,
6
almost
months.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
wow. I was like, doesn't seem too long, but it kind of seems like a long time. Sounds about right. 6 months. So, from that point, how is life different since we started working together?
Ah, it is so much better. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I feel like I went through. Well, I would say like three major epochs with you, and this is why I feel like 6 months minimum is honest. Like everyone should do 6 months at least, more like a year, because you need some of the ups and downs of the fitness journey. Because you will say this, and I did not know that I did not appreciate this when I started, just how much it's not linear. And so I had
Yeah.
your support and I had your help, but it still was not like, oh, you do Josh's workouts and you lose 1 pound, or you do Josh's workouts, you lose one. It's not how it goes, right? So from when we started, I had like the initial, I think I tried to quit 3 times in the first 6 weeks, and you were like, it's a minimum 12-week commitment. So no, you cannot quit, because what we're doing right now in this early, those first 6 weeks were really hard because I was fitting in something that I had never made time for before, which was consistently working out. I was doing something I'd never done before, which is actually monitor what I'm eating. So, like, of course, it was hugely inconvenient and I did not enjoy it. And I was like, I'd rather be doing almost anything else. So, I really wanted to quit several times. And you were like, very firmly, but very gently, we're like, no, you must continue. Because
Yep.
those first 6 weeks, that's the retraining. That's the like, we're getting it into your habit routine. We are breaking into those cycles of the stuff you usually do and the times you usually snack and all those things. So that period was the first 6 weeks were really hard. The next 6 weeks, I feel like I got so many gains really quickly. I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. I just needed your encouragement to keep going. And so then the next 6 weeks to like, I don't know, the next 12 weeks, I feel like we really worked hard and I was really on my diet game, and I lost, I think grand total in those first 16 weeks, I lost 19 pounds in 16 weeks. And I was like, I feel tremendous. This is amazing. And then we got into the holiday season here in the US, like it's winter. And it's getting colder and it's getting snackier. And we do real Halloween here in America where we go around and get all the candy. So, like, there was a lot of candy in the
Yeah.
house and there were a lot of baking activities. So, for me, it was like I got to kind of a coasting period where I was like, okay, we've lost a ton of weight, 20 pounds from where I started to where I was. I was like, this is a huge accomplishment. I didn't think it was possible at the beginning of the year. And here I am, like 4 months later, and I'm almost to my goal weight. So we kind of coasted through the holidays and I just kept being consistent. And then when I was like, okay, let's turn up the effort a little bit more, you gave me one more workout a week, pushed me a little bit harder. We started pushing the diet again. And now we're like, we have achieved goal weight. And so these kind of three different epochs, I feel like we're really, really, they're like people would call them plateaus if they were being really like not optimistic about it. But I can see how it's like, no, no, we get to a certain level and then we make sure we can stay there. And then we get to another level of difficulty and then we stay there for a while. And
Yeah.
all of that together comes into like, I feel, I have so much energy. I feel tremendous. I wake up in the morning and you made a comment to me one time about like girls will hang off their ligaments when doing plank and that's how they
Yep.
can sit
Yep.
there so long. And I was like, what does that mean? And from where I was before, and even remembering when I was thinner, I was hanging off my ligaments. I was not using my muscles to their fullest ability to do something like a plank. And this, like, feeling my muscles show up for me for the first time in my adult life that I can remember, having my core really hold me in, having my leg muscles really be the thing that's lifting me up. Amazing. It's like, it's so empowering.
It's a
I
powerful
don't
feeling.
remember feeling like this since I was literally like 17 or 18 years old.
And so you mentioned the core stuff and the legs. So what were some of your initial goals that you've noticed come to fruition?
I mean, I was like, I think a lot of people were like, I want to hit a certain target weight
Of
number,
course.
like we all do. So, I mean, I was 189, I was 190, let's be honest. I was 190 when I started. I'm currently 160. I've lost, that works out to, I think, like 1/6 of my body weight, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
30
So, like,
pounds.
the weight gain, the weight loss is amazing. That was my number one goal, was I just wanted to lose weight. But underneath that was a bunch of these very, very niche specific goals that maybe other women will appreciate. I have this dress that's beautiful that I have not got to wear in 3 years and it has zero stretch in it. And the craziest thing was when I tried it on, I'd only lost 16 pounds. So I was like, I thought I was fully probably 15 or 20 pounds heavier than I could possibly be to fit in this dress. But it was that dress I kept in the closet that I was like, oh, one day I'll wear it. Being like 15 pounds heavier than I thought was the top out of what I could possibly fit into this dress. But being able to put it on and it fit, I was like, wait a second, this is a health metric that's not scale.
Yes.
That's a quality of life thing. That's
Yep.
a I get to look beautiful. I get to wear something that makes me feel really confident because my body has changed shape in a way that fits the dress. Like I fit in the dress. I can wear my normal ring size for the first time since I was pregnant with my second. So like I'm wearing my actual wedding ring, not a overly large costume ring. Like it's very, very weird specific goals that I was like, those were the things I started to notice along the way that I was like, oh, this feels tremendous to be able to wear cute little strappy sandals that I haven't been able to wear in a really long time because I'm not too heavy to be in heels and I can wear shoes that are a little bit tighter. I can wear the ring I'm supposed to be wearing. I can wear a dress that I want to put on. Like those little quality of life things started to feel like those were those other goals that I was like, oh, I didn't realize that underneath the weight was I want to fit in these clothes. I want to feel this way.
Bingo.
And then also just this like the energy I have when you're not lugging around an extra 30 pounds when you get up in the morning is just, it's,
And
I mean, it feels
that's
terrific.
that's something I talk about with a lot of clients who've gone through significant weight losses. Like you don't notice it every step of the way. But if you ever try and pick up that weight that you've lost that you used to carry around all the time, like imagine just wearing a backpack full of 30 pounds and
All the
just wearing it
time.
around. And that's
Yeah.
just your life. And you
Yeah.
think, man, this is heavy. It's like, yeah, that's what you drug around every day.
And it's not like when you're pregnant. Like when you're pregnant, I mean, I can speak to this, but like when you're pregnant, you gain that weight incrementally. And it's, I mean, it's over a kind of a short window in the scheme of
Yeah.
your life. 9 months is not that long. And most of the weight gains in like the second half. So like in 4.5 months ish, you put on a lot of weight, but it's incremental and you don't notice it as it comes. And then usually you like drop some of it later. I haven't done another hormone panel, but I would really like to because there was nothing wrong with my hormones, but it was in my thyroid hormone in particular was like in a range that I'm like, I've tested before and I don't feel good at that range. So I might do it again a year later because I bet it's higher now because I'm just not as hungry all the time. That's the other thing is like when you spend a lot of time in pregnancy and postpartum and nursing, especially, like I was nursing all that time too, I was so hungry and I was so carb focused because I needed it for my babies. And like there was a period of time when we started working together, I was still nursing a little bit. My toddler was she wasn't quite a toddler yet. So I was still nursing and she still wasn't sleeping through the night. So like some of the things that helped my weight loss journey, I'm sure would have happened anyway. Like I was gonna wean the baby eventually, and I was gonna, she's gotta sleep through the night someday, right? Um, by the time she's in college, she's got to sleep, right? So, some of those things were probably gonna make the demands on my body a lot lower anyway. But that's where, again, there are these other goals that I didn't realize I had until we started working together and until I started to achieve them, which is I could have probably eventually lost this weight on my own, especially with like the demands on my body go down, baby starts sleeping through the night. I can start cutting calories and like just monitor my diet on my own. I probably could have gotten here on my own. I 100% with absolute confidence can say I would not be as strong today as I am if we had not been working out together this whole time.
And that's
Like,
really such an important thing for quality of life.
yeah. Oh, it's because continuing to cut puts a lot of focus. It's also, frankly, a little bit demoralizing if you do all the cutting with none of the gains and the growth. If I focused only on the diet, and that's all about like keeping myself restricted. Whereas if I'm working out too, it's like, yes, but I'm seeing this growth, these achievements in one more rep each set, and I'm upping my weights periodically, and things that were hard are becoming easy. And as I work on those things, it's like, oh, I'm seeing my power increase and cutting the calories to help me get there and to make those like it balances in a way that makes you feel more empowered than deprived,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
especially when
absolutely.
I was starting, you had me focus so much more on like upping my protein and balancing. Like we weren't focused on cutting calories to start. We were like, get the protein up, and once you eat a certain amount of protein, you're full. You don't
Funny
need to
that.
keep eating,
And
which is
breakfast.
amazing. Yeah. And like I feel like there's a lot of health stuff that we all know the guidance, we all know the advice, right? And I felt like, especially when I started, and even when I met with a nutritionist, that's the funny thing. When I met with the nutritionist in February, and you and I started working together in June, She was like, well, I mean, your diet's okay. You're eating an animal protein every meal. But it wasn't until I started working with you, we were really focusing on the calories and stuff, or not just the calories, but my macros, that I realized, okay, I am eating an animal protein, but like, I'm a mom with 4 kids and I'm working from home. So yeah, I'm relying on some fast foods at home to get food on the table. Like you need things that are quick and you need things that are easy to produce, but like there are better options than this brand of chicken nuggets versus that one. The difference in protein count matters, and the difference between regular yogurt and Greek yogurt. And like there were
It
a
adds
lot of
up.
little swaps where I was like, I was eating okay. I was eating healthy, but not healthy enough. It wasn't actually nutritionally dense enough. And so I started making those changes for myself and I started making them for my kids. And everyone's mood has stabilized since we've really been eating more protein. It's like everyone is
Everyone's
everyone's
winning.
doing better in this house. It's great. So it's also one of those things where I'm demonstrating for my kids that we take care of our bodies and we eat things that make us feel good and make us feel strong and give our muscles things to grow with. And they're eating with me. So like we eat sausages and cottage cheese in the morning instead of cereal. It's like there's nothing wrong with cereal except the inevitable emotional crash that happens
Yeah.
45 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So what has been your favorite part of the whole process?
Um, Having you as a coach has been great. You are exactly the right amount of like emotional support, and also you have not done your workout today. Are you planning to get to that this weekend, Sierra? Calling me by name and being like, "Hey,
Hmm.
I am checking up on you," right?
Yeah.
Somebody who cares about me. You're a wonderful third person because like my husband obviously cares about me, my friends and my mom and other people care about me. But there's something weird about getting, especially my husband, to harass me about did you do your workouts? It's like, babe, do you not know what I'm dealing with at home? You're sympathetic, you're kind, and you're not going to be a jerk to me about it. But you're also that third person who you're going to care for me like someone who wants the best for me and who doesn't have to cut me a ton of slack like my husband might or like my family or my friends might. You're like that friend who is not going to BS you. And we love that because you're
Got
going to
got to
hold me
keep you on
accountable and
track.
make sure I get there.
Yeah, I mean that's what I see my job to be is number one is accountability. And I try not to be too mean, but
No,
sometimes.
you're not too mean.
Well,
I get a lot of dopamine out of a nice Josh thumbs up gif. I'm like, yes, I did do a good job. Thank you.
excellent. And okay, so you're in a pretty unique situation. Well, maybe not so much unique. You're in a situation I think actually a lot of people would understand. You're a mom that's at home most of the time, also running a stay-at-home business with
Mhm.
100 children. You got a lot of things going on. And
Yeah.
number one excuse, sorry, excuse might be too hard to word. Number one story people tell themselves is, I don't have time or I don't have energy. And
Hmm.
those things get fixed when you change things. But what would you tell to someone who's in a similar situation to you? How would you find or help them find help to make that situation better?
I feel like over the course of this whole year, I've had a lot of experiences actually where post COVID and everything else, I have finally gotten to travel. Like I don't have now that I don't have a nursing baby, I've gotten to travel and meet a lot of people, and go and do a lot of things that I have not got to do in a lot of years. So especially if you're really in a stuck situation where things have been very the same for a long time and you're kind of fed up with it, but also like you've tried all the things and you're like, but it doesn't work. I can't get out of here. You're like, this is how it is. The impossibility of that it seems like that doing more will help. You're like, how can I possibly doing more? If I throw more money at this problem, if I, call for more support, if I go and travel all the way over there, like what is, do I really need to go, travel on a plane to go to a conference? It's just a conference or whatever. Yes, but the what happens when you meet people? What happens when you get that support? What happens when you actually invest hard in something that is proven to work, like Coach Josh? You get the results. And it's all those other things like that energy. Like the thing you need is somebody to hold you accountable to remind you that on those days when you don't have the energy, you still have to work out because working out is the thing that will give you the energy. It's that it's there's a downward spiral trend that a lot of people do, and there's the literally it's a flip switch where it's like you need to do it when you don't want to do it, and Josh will remind you to do it when you don't want to do it because it will upward spiral you toward the energy to keep doing it, and it is an inconvenience. I really wanted to quit when we started. It was very inconvenient. For those first couple of weeks were really hard. I'm not going to pretend like it's not, but that's why there's, a commitment for a couple of weeks to get started because you have to rebuild those patterns. The problem is that you haven't been making time for it. You have time, and for a long period of time I felt really like I don't want to have to work out. This is detracting from work. This is detracting from time with my husband. And you know what? At some point when I realized my husband would love to work out with me. Now working out is date night. It's fabulous. He loves it. He's obsessed. He's like, yes, someone to work out with me. So we, watch a show or something on YouTube and lift weights together. And he's thrilled. So it's like there are ways to take the things you need to do and fit them into your day. You need somebody to remind you that you have to fit that Tetris piece in. You have to because it will give you the energy. It will make you feel better. I other random benefits of working out with you. My back feels better. My neck feels better. Do you know how often I work out? I'm like, oh, I'm sore and tight and whatever. Working those muscles, part of the reason you're tight is because those muscles are weak. So
Yeah,
work out, babe. Get in the gym.
that's it.
Lift something. And like you would say, if it hurts, if you feel worse when you start, like do something. And if you feel worse, stop. That's fine. If you don't feel worse, keep going. And probably you'll finish your workout and you will feel better. And you'll take a shower and you'll be like, yeah, this was great, actually.
Excellent. All right, I got one last question for you. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but just, you probably already covered all the good stuff, but what are some words of wisdom that you want everyone to hear?
Um, I there where do I start? I think that the best thing you can do is try everything under your own power because the truth, like we've said, the truth is we all know what to do, right? We all know what needs to be done to work out its diet and exercise, and we all know that. But when you try it and you put a good faith effort in it, don't half-ass it, okay? Like try. And if after you try you can't get the results you want, go to someone who will guarantee that he gets them for you, and that's Josh. It's like with with I want you to edit this out because I'm thinking I have
There are
a
no edits. This
thought
is,
that is my perfect thought that I want to say clearly. I
I
had
don't
a
know.
really great line I wanted to end
Did
on, and now
did you? Well,
I
I think that one was pretty good. I
okay.
think that pretty much covered everything. I mean, it's been
Okay.
a wild ride from you trying to quit a couple weeks in
Oh,
to me saying, "I'm sorry, but you can't."
you can't. You
You
signed a
have to do the
contract
work.
and committed.
And now you're 30 pounds down
Yeah.
and a million pounds stronger.
Oh
And
no, and the goal, like now I want I didn't know how much I needed it until I got here. And now I'm like, now I'm looking at things like, man, it's not just like a number on the scale. I'm looking forward at like what else can I train for so that I can do more with my kids and my family. Like I'm looking forward to the only regret I have is that I didn't start with you earlier, so I could have had Hot Mom Summer instead of Hot Mom Winter because it's currently the dead of winter here. So it's sweater weather. I took off my sleeves so you could appreciate that I'm thinner than I was because man, it's a waste of being so hot in the winter. So
what a
I'm just
shame.
gonna have to keep working out until the summer and
That's
have
it, I
another Hot Mom
guess.
Summer. What else am I gonna do? So
I think it's the only choice. Well, thank you very much, Sarah, for your time and all your kind words. I really hope that I really hope people listen to this and they get something from it because I think there's a lot of moms, especially in a similar situation, who need to hear this. So thank
yeah,
you very much, and we'll chat soon.
cool. Thank you very much, Josh.